Since you talk about old regulations, just as a small aside, I believe in the 1857 Telegraph Act, there is still a clause which bars you from owning multiple telephone connections. I don't know if that will also go, Mr. Vaishnaw. But let's talk about the future, since you spoke about mobility. The fifth generation mobile broadband spectrum auctions, you've already spoken about that happening this year. The biggest concern has been, and this is impacting in some ways consumers as well, that the government has in the past used auctions as a revenue exercise. Let's mop up money from here, there, wherever, and use spectrum. And spectrum, by becoming very expensive, ultimately gets passed on to the consumer. There is no free lunch. It's impacted BSNL and MTNL also. You had to bail them out in that regard as well. How will 5G be priced? I know you cannot sort of announce it here at this stage. There is a proper process involved, but what's your own thinking?
Listen, let's take two numbers first. Globally, the average revenue per ARPU is what we call, is close to 2,600, 2,700 in most of the other geographies. We are close to 300 rupees as the average cost for a common consumer. So it's not that our prices are very high compared to the global standards. For sure, we are significantly lower than the global cost standards, one. Two, there is a realization throughout the world that telecom today, and especially spectrum as a key enabler of telecom, has an element of public good. Third, our process of discovering the price is a very transparent process. TRAI is right now going through the final leg of its consultations. It would be unfair for me to comment on the pricing, but I hope and I'm confident that the industry will be prepared for the 5G rollout. But beyond this 5G rollout, I wanted to highlight another point. Yep. See, Prime Minister gave us a target. Our entire technology stack for 5G has to be developed in India in the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, has to be developed in India. And I'm very happy to share with all the viewers, after the great success of 4G core and 4G radio network, building upon that success, 5G core, 5G radio network, 5G telecom equipments and 5G handset. The success is phenomenal. By the end of this year, or rather even somewhere in the middle of this year, we would have Indian product, entire technology stack, which we prove in the country and take it to the world and challenge some of the biggest technology providers in telecom.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the key things that you must also realize, and by now, is that Mr. Vaishnaw is, in fact, I would call him one of the three major Atmanirbhar Bharat ministers in the government, with Railways, which is a fantastic Atmanirbhar organization. Communications, you heard about 5G. We know what has happened in handsets. And now I'm turning to electronics, which is the semiconductor plan. I'll straight up ask you, is Intel coming to India or not, sir? Because, you know, this is a question that's asked always. You have to give us a definitive answer today.
So, when the scheme, the semiconductor policy was launched last December, 15 December is when the cabinet approved it. Within 15 days, we launched all the schemes, we set the portal up and running. 1st January onwards, we started receiving the applications. I'm very happy to share with you that the response has been phenomenal. Throughout the world, the big players in semiconductor industry have noticed one very major thing which is different compared to the rest of the world. We have given a clear assurance and a roadmap for 20 years, which is very different from, I'm willing to put in so many billions of dollars, please come to my country kind of approach first. Second, we have looked at the entire picture, not just silicon fab, but display fab, compound semiconductors, design ecosystem. Above all, which the entire industry is appreciating, is that we have committed to prepare 85,000 semiconductor engineers, and we have already shortlisted the institutions in which they will work. They will be trained. We are working with AICTE right now to prepare, to finalize the course curriculum. it's something which is going to last, which will strengthen our country's economy for many years. That's the vision of Prime Minister. When he called me and said that Ashwini ji सोचो 20 साल का सोचना है, हमें 4-5 साल के हिसाब से सोचना ही नहीं है, because this is an industry where if you lay the foundation today, you will start getting the results in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. And if the results are good, foundation is strong, the results will continue to give us buoyancy for next many decades. So that's the thought process. I wouldn't take name of any company. Yes, there is keen interest from almost all the major participants.